Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, like the chart behind me, which is of BABA, ticker symbol Alibaba, ticker symbol BABA. And I'm just trying to close this window. It's not going away. It's kind of annoying. There we go. And yeah, so I do a live stream every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Ticker requests live. So if you got any ticker requests, happy to go over them. Hey, Nameless, what's up? I do see you in the chat, and I did add SFIX as well as SPXU. I assume that's what you were asking about. And, Baba, I think you did ask about that last Sunday, but I forgot to go over it. And yeah, so just here to hang out, also wearing green and wanted to celebrate St. Patty's Day with you guys. So happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves. And yeah, looking forward to going over some charts. Man, it's nice and smooth. All right, yeah, and I will add Polestar to here as well. And also, before I do get into the charts, I did want to share that the channel is now fully monetized. So if you ever see an ad on the channel, I get, a small, I think like 10 cents or something per every ad watched. So, yeah, and it might be actually less than that. It might be just a few cents. But yeah, if you do see ads, um, you know, yeah, it's exciting. If you've seen them before, I wasn't getting anything from them, and now I am, or should be. So it's really exciting. Over 4,000 watch hours within the past year, and I started doing this in October. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'm just having a blast doing this. Although I have been fairly burnt out a little bit the past couple weeks. But yeah, happy to be doing this tonight. And also, I should note that starting in after like the second week of April, I should have evenings open moving forward, so I could do a ticker request live on Tuesday as well as Thursday, in addition to the normal Sunday one. So that should be pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, Nameless, I will start going over SFIX, but if you do want me to go over Alibaba, I can do that as well. It does, actually, since it's up here, I'll just do it real quick. But yeah, like, I feel like you asked about it perhaps when it was like breaking out of this wedge, and I, have gotten, like, I've been ODing on Fibonacci retracements. I need to cut them down a little bit. But yeah, just like looking at these lines that I've drawn up here, it does look like this was a double top, lower high, so not looking so good there, I guess. And yeah, so this might be coming back to this orange trend line, which would be coming down to a price of like $72, $73. It's almost there, really. But yeah, I mean, it also might be finding support at the at this white downtrend, and that could be, setting it up for a pretty good run up if this is to be acting as support. But yeah, I think the last time I went over Alibaba was maybe a couple weeks ago. The video wasn't terribly popular, so I didn't do a follow-up on it. And also, I've just kind of been falling behind on things a little bit, trying to keep up. Because I think, like, it was pretty crazy. There was, like, a few days when the number of views, number of watch hours were just, like, shooting up. But then, I don't know, I fell out of sync with the algorithm or something, and things kind of fell off a cliff. So I kind of decided, I should take a step back and try to evaluate how to get better performing videos, stuff like that. But yeah, I will look over SFIX, which I do believe I went over this last week, which would make sense. 1, 2, yeah, 5 candles following that extension. And yeah, this is locked into place. Yeah, I mean, really, like, just continuing this Fibonacci retracement down is kind of, what I realized, worthless until a bottom has actually been established. So, really, like, if, it would just be guessing if there is a bottom at this point. Maybe it has hit the bottom at $2.21, but maybe not. So it's just like making the assumption that that is the bottom. And so I think the best way to maybe consider if that is the bottom is to do perhaps a retracement from here up to this level, and then I'll just add the 2618 extension to this, which is apparently too far down there. Yeah, so that's not the best one to be looking at, and so maybe I could do this same thing, but with this run up, just being approximate. Yeah, so I don't know. This could suggest that might keep going. Maybe I could do it like this. I think maybe this is fudging it. I don't know. Yeah, from the low there to the high there. Yeah, so maybe it's going to find a bottom around 218. So I'd say that's like the next really like potential support. Is there anything that's all-time lows? Yeah, so yeah, maybe just trying to think of ones that have like smaller ranges. Yeah, I mean, it's just the extensions from that, so I don't know how significant those are really, but there are a couple there that do suggest it could be finding a bottom. So I guess I'd look for close, like it to not really close lower or much lower than what was it on Thursday, close of 223. Yeah, so I'd really just look, does it put in lower closes and does it close below 221? If it closes below 221, it's probably going to continue down more. So it's maybe not a fast falling knife, but still a falling knife. And yeah, I mean, but this could be a bottom forming around there. Yeah, and also, dude, this is something that I've been getting better at appreciating because they've been like, I've been paying the price for not appreciating them. But this is just like a bear flag right there. It's in that gap down. And yeah, and this was around earnings. Yeah, so this like happened with Rivian basically too, like right around earnings. It was a bear flag and then it broke. And so I guess the earnings were in the after hours, I'd imagine. And yeah, just dropped. So this would have actually been a compelling one to like buy puts on or buy a short. And so like the 4th, 5th. Yeah, because this was also like the beginning of the week too. So you would have had plenty of time for like before weekly options to expire. If you put them 2 weeks out, something like that. Hey Vince, what's up? How's it going? If you got any requests, happy to take them. But yeah, as far as SFIX goes, I do think that it could be finding a bottom, but I just look for, I really like ideally there's like a bounce, so it's not consolidating at the bottom there, and yeah, because like the last thing you want is more consolidation like this. And right now it hasn't really been doing that. It's still been finding a bottom. So hopefully there's a bounce and maybe a move up to like a 241 as based on the open of this day, I guess. Really just, yeah, generally in that area. I think that'd be good to move up. And so then I'll look over, yes, VLD, I've got that on here. And I'm probably going to put a video out on VLD tomorrow. I think Palantir and VLD, I'll try to get videos out on them tomorrow. And LICY. And then I'm just going to try to go through the tickers in order that they're requested because I pretty much always forget them. So if I do jump around, I'm going to forget some. And so I'm going to go over SPXU. I assume that's what Nameless is asking about. So I did just put out a video on basically the SPX and semiconductors, NVIDIA, and shorting semiconductors. I didn't include SPXU just because I didn't want it to be like too cluttered and stuff. I'll probably do another video next week that will include more of the indexes. But yeah, with this, it does look like this. I'm not sure. Is that a shooting star or an evening star that suggests a reversal? So yeah, I mean, I think that this could mean that this is going to be coming back down. And I think that, like here, I feel like I've got to look at the SPX when looking at this as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess like this suggests a break. that it's going to go down, but this is on the daily time frame. On the weekly time frame, it doesn't look as bad. And so I think that there will probably be a test to get back into the channel. And so that could mean, because these are uptrending levels, that could mean that it could hit an all-time high. Like maybe, so this is, the cursor's at tomorrow, the 18th, and then over here, the 19th. So Tuesday, if the S&P 500 is attempting to get new all-time highs, if it's getting all-time highs, it could still be underneath this uptrend. And so it would need to get back inside in order to like negate this. As far as I understand, if we get closes above this level, then, I mean, to be honest, this is pretty new to me to see breaks like this and to be following them and just trying to understand, that this is confirmation of a breakdown. How do we then negate that? I would think we need to get a close above the all-time high, 51.8926. Let's see, yeah. And then whatever the high is on that day, need to get another close above it to like negate this breakdown. But then if we're still trading below this uptrend, then that's still, then there's a lot of resistance above where the stock's trading. So I think that, like with the SPXU, I think we will get a pullback. I think it's quite possible we could be seeing, 678 hit or lower. And so I do think that there are more like potentially good dip buying opportunities with this stuff, with shorting the market. But yeah, I mean, I think that these signs will eventually stack up, not just on the daily time frame, also the weekly time frame, and then this will fall over. But yeah, I mean, but if it does consolidate to the side here, then that's potentially like a bull flag, and then it could move up to get back into that channel, maybe, or the wedge. So yeah, it's I don't think it's going to be like a quick snap if it's on the daily time frame. And if it's just the S&P 500, like I think that like semiconductors and stuff like that would have to show a lot of weakness, and like Nvidia, other things like we saw in last week's shorting video. I mentioned General Electric, Costco. I think there's something else that happened last week that looked pretty bad after earnings. And so I think we're just going to start to see, all these big mega cap companies, them just kind of crashing down following earnings or following some event, some news. And, as those start to fall, then eventually everything else will. So I think it might be like another month or so before this stuff really rolls over. So I'm just trying to SPXU, I'm still adding to my position, but it's just like, one share a week. So really nothing that crazy. But SOXS, I've added a lot more to that. And yeah, not crazy, but I do have more than, I have 100 shares now, so I can sell covered calls. So it's a pretty cheap, 350, so that's not too crazy. But yeah, I have 100 shares now, and so I'm going to be selling a covered call with a strike of $4 because my average is below $4, which is kind of crazy. Getting close to it, but I don't know that it will be closing on Fridays at 4. I think it'll be closing around closer to 3. But yeah, I plan on just continuing to add to this. I'm really excited about SOXS, but I think it's going to take a little while before to really start to turn around. Yes, R. Deshane, I will definitely go over VLD. I just have to go over Polestar next. That's the next one on the list, then VLD. And so I will look over Polestar real quick. Got lots of lines here. Yeah, so, what I think is nice about this, I don't know if I was thinking about doing a video over the weekend, but I was keeping an eye on this. I do have a small position in Polestar, which, I'm just trying to accumulate more as it goes down and trying to not be too aggressive in adding to it. But what I think is really nice is on Thursday, we close below this red line, which what's that correspond with? That's just the extension from this retracement here. And that was kind of useful at approximately predicting the bottom here at $1.59. And so, yeah, and really, I mean, what I think is probably more significant than that extension is $1.59. That was the low over here. And so we had consolidated above it, consolidated along this trend, really, which is that's like a bear flag right there, broke lower, went above it, and then, hung out around it a little bit here, but then broke lower. And so on Thursday, we were below 159, that orange line. Also breaking below the 618 here. That's at a price of like $1.63 and $1.66, which has significance because I think it was the lowest close over here. Let's see, yes, 166 right there. And so, like on Thursday, opened above all those levels, closed below all of them. And then on Friday, moved up, reclaimed two of them, closed at 163. So effectively like right on the 618 right here. So, I mean, it hasn't like broken this downtrend that it's in. Let's see. So if I just like put a channel from here, could probably extend it over. Yeah, however I want to draw that. Price is still residing in that, so it's not like a break or anything. So what we'd really need to see is a break and like a close above 166. That would suggest it's broken out of this channel. And then if it, is able to have like basically multiple closes above 166, then I think that would look pretty good for it. And then I don't know how significant it is, but I had drawn this uptrending level. I think it would be good for price to get above that. So that would be really, 50% retracement is like 174 about, but that would still be price below that uptrend. So I think it would look really good if price can get up to like $1.83 or 4. So that's what I would look for next week. And this is, a downtrending channel. So I would think it's more likely to break to the upside, or it's just maybe going to continue to fade this way. If we do get some sideways consolidation, that could be like a bear flag and that it might break to the downside. So I think that's good to keep in mind. So I'd look at getting a close higher than 163. I think that would be good. 166 would be really good. And also just not getting a close below 159 at this point. We did reclaim it, so don't want to like lose that right away. So hopefully tomorrow it's a green day and price does go up. And then also, there's all this consolidation over here above 166. So I can see that as being resistance. If we throw up the volume profile, there's this big peak there because of all this consolidation, and also right here, overlap between these candles here. So I think that 166 is going to be a tough level to get above now that we're below it. And so hopefully we can have some momentum starting the week off. So hopefully that's helpful. And then, I will look at VLD. I was actually looking at this on Friday, being kind of bummed about it because I think on like Tuesday, or Monday, I made the video. I'm pretty sure it was Monday. So that would be like, was it the 11th? Yeah, 11th was Monday. And so I had made a video thinking like, oh, well, the low on that day was 32 cents, and I have this line here. I'm thinking that price might be pulling back to 32 cents. So I placed a limit buy order at 32 cents. Not a huge position or anything, picking up 100 shares, $32, and hoping that it would get filled on a pullback. And the pullback on the 13th comes to exactly 32 cents. My order doesn't get filled, and then it launches up. And so that kind of bums me out because that's not that I would have like sold or anything, or at least not this soon, but that's like 50% swing right there up to the high there. But now at the current price, that's, gotta adjust this. That's 30% swing. So that's pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is going to go much higher, like up to 60 cents. So, yeah, and I'm not sure what I need to rewatch that video before I record the next one. Um, because, yeah, I think I did a measured move, like assuming this is a head, inverse head and shoulders. So taking it from the low there to this neckline, seeing the break over here. Yeah, put price to right around 45 cents, or yeah, 45, 46 cents. So we did get that move. Um, and so what I still have my order at 32 cents because I think that it can make it up to 60 cents. There's this big gap up here. And if we look at the volume profile, yeah, I mean, there's not much there. It's actually kind of surprising that it wicked back here. It's probably because, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. There are some people here that were left holding the bag and then it moved up. They got rid of their shares. I don't know. But yeah, for me personally, I set the order at 32. I think that it will come back to 32. And if it doesn't, I'm going to be left behind. Then that's just 32 bucks in my account that I'm not blowing on something else. It's just sitting there. Yeah, because I mean, also, yeah, I mean, the neckline here is downtrending, so it could pull back and retest the downtrend going to like 30 cents even. So I'm just trying to exercise my like discipline with this and just waiting for it. It's not like if it was a bigger position, maybe I'd feel more FOMO. But it's a small position, just kind of a fun play. I feel like the chart looks really nice, and I feel pretty good about going to 60 cents, if not higher. It just seems like a really good company, and yeah. So I mean, this is one that I would like to hold at least to 60 cents, and that's almost a 100% swing. So yeah, I'm hoping it pulls back to 32. I do think that it is interesting it got rejected from around like a little over 45, 46 cents because that is kind of like the measured move here. I still think the chart looks good. I still think it looks bullish. But if it does pull back to 32 cents or 30 cents, I think that's a steal. I think that the bottom might very well be in at 19 cents, 18.95. Also, earnings are coming up on the 26th. So maybe that's a little precarious. I don't know. Maybe that could coincide with some volatility. Orders get filled on dips, even though the stock ends up responding well to earnings, but there's just volatility around it in the after hours or pre-market. So I think that's something to consider. I wouldn't chase it. I'm not chasing it. But if you have a lot of conviction in the company and want to just hold it long term, I don't think the volatility that we're going to see coming up is going to be really that significant. Because, yeah, I mean, it just seems like the company has a lot of potential to be going higher. So, and yeah, I'm actually, with it trading so low, I'm surprised there haven't been any reverse splits or anything like that. It might be needing to do that soon, but there's a gap up here above $1, so maybe it could be squeezing up to that level and then regain compliance, stuff like that. And then I also have LICY I need to go over, so I'll just pull that up. I'm just going to kind of catch up on some of the comments. And Oleg, yeah, no problem for going over Polestar. Small position, believe in them as their valuations are much better than other EVs when margins are positive, and last models has had great responses. Yeah, and also too, I think that it's like I feel like a lot of EVs have been like either US or China centric, but Polestar is in Europe, so I think that that's like I don't know of other EV like European EV companies, so I think that they have like a really nice angle with that as well. So, yeah, and I will add SOFI to this, no problem. But I will first go over LICY. And I think, yeah, I made a list of tickers that I wanted to go over the weekend. SOFI was on it. I just don't have time. It's not like time, energy, balance, trying to figure all that stuff out. But yeah, LICY. So let's see about this. This looks like it could be a bull flag He's got this big move up and then consolidation here. You know, it doesn't look so good that it's been like forming lower highs. But I do think that it could be getting ready to go higher. That's what I would think based on this chart. That, yeah, like just like glancing at it, move up and consolidate. Because I mean, really, it doesn't look that good with these big wicks here. But look at the closes. Like you get this close up here, and then it close down here, close up here. So it's not, you know, like this pullback was okay. So this move up 36%, and this pullback almost 12%. Then this move up almost 8 or over 8%. So I mean, it's been hanging out around that area, still pretty volatile, moving a lot, but I mean, it hasn't retraced to like fill this gap or anything. So I think it looks pretty good. I guess that what I'd look for is a close lower than this close. I think that would be a bad sign, and that is at a price of 70.59 cents. But then really like getting closes lower than these wick lows, I think that would look bad, especially getting a close below the low on the 13th, which was 65.39 cents. So that's a level that you don't want to see closes below. And then it could really start to come down. I mean, there's even a gap down here at like 44 cents. So, yeah, but I think that as of right now, this looks like it's bullish consolidation. So I would think, you know, it's more likely to fill the gap up here, you know, and that'd be going up to $1.44. So it's almost doubling from current price. See, I mean, I think this looks pretty good. And like this is also following, like, what kind of move was this? From the low here up to the high. Yeah, why? I don't want all this stuff. All right. Let's see, low to the high. Yeah, that's over 100%. So I think it's good that it's cooling off, and it's cooling off around like 90%. And so maybe it could get another run and potentially fill this gap up here. And I guess I can do another measurement from like right around current price. That's like another 90% move. It doesn't seem unreasonable. But at the same time, I mean, it could, you know, be pulling back to fill these gaps. So, I mean, if I was in this position and like really in the green, maybe I'd trim a little bit just in case it does pull back. I could then buy them back lower, like if this gap fills. And actually, yeah, I mean, let's think about that. Why would this gap fill other than just there being a gap there? Let's see, what might draw the price there? Yeah, so I mean, you got some lows over here that correspond with that. Let's see. I mean, it does look like it's above this volume profile, though. So, yeah, I mean, but I guess, like, this does look good, but I definitely could see it coming back, pulling back to, like, 61, 62 cents. And maybe it bounces from there. But, yeah, I mean, I think it looks like a bull flag, just glancing at it. So I think it looks good. But this could, of course, break down, getting lower closes. Like, I guess ideally it'd be nice if it like wicked down to like 61 or 62 cents. Like, what's the high here? That's 60 cents. So if it could like wick down to 60 cents, that would be great. And then consolidate and then bounce back and move higher. That would be nice. By like 63 cents, you said that they beat EPS, earnings per share. So that's good. Yeah, I wish there was more information here on them. Yeah, so I mean, when was their earnings call? What's the news? Reports results for a quarter ended in December. That was a couple days ago, so I guess on Friday. Exceeds targets, gain strategic investment. Yeah, oh, and one thing, I wonder if this move up, if they might raise capital or something, or maybe they'd dilute the shares or sell some to raise capital, following this like 100% move. So I wonder if this could be pulling back as a result of that to like 60 to 62 cents. So I guess I could see that, even though this does look bullish, maybe they would do something like that. So I think that's something to consider. And then let's see, just checking out the comments, make sure I'm not missing stuff. Jamie, you're saying that it's not going back, Velo 3D is not going back to 32. Yeah, if it doesn't go back to 32, I'm cool with that. I will be cheering for those who are holding, and I'll still do videos on it and stuff. And it's unfortunate. If I would have had the order placed at like 32.01 cents, it probably would have been filled. But yeah, what can you do? Let's see. And then I see SOFI. I've mentioned that. And Velo has let's see, what's the news here? Announces fourth quarter and fiscal year offerings. Yeah, so I see your comment on them getting a deal with X in space. Is that SpaceX or different or related to X? But yeah, it seems like a really interesting company. 3D printing of metals and having applications in like Rocket Lab is one of their customers, I believe. And I will look at SOFI. Yeah, so I was looking at this. There are a number of so I have a small position in SoFi, nothing that crazy. There are just like a few stocks that I have large positions in. And so this is one I've been accumulating a little bit recently. And I was looking at this and it's like, it doesn't really look that good, but we didn't get a close lower than Thursday's low. So it's quite possible we could be moving higher. Does look like it's potentially bumped into, this channel maybe could be adjusted a little bit, but it does look like this channel could be acting as support. Top of it here. But we did close below this previous low, which was 705, closing 2 cents below that. So that doesn't look too good. And the 14th, we hit a low of 699. So hopefully, we're not closing below what was the low on Friday, 691. And if we get a close below 691 or really 699, I don't think that looks too good. But yeah, this could very well be a double bottom and that this is getting ready to bounce. And I'm actually going to check something on my phone. I usually place orders to start the week and, nothing crazy. But I feel like I placed one, so... Yeah, so I have an order placed at $6.99. If it does pull back to that, I'll add another share to my small position and just kind of accumulate them, which I have been doing the past couple weeks, I feel like. But yeah, I think that this could be forming a double bottom and moving higher to get back above 750. So like it doesn't look that good, but I think that this could be a bottoming signal. So yeah, I think that the SoFi chart looks good. And actually, if we look at this on the weekly, yeah, this is down 14%, down almost 9%. So yeah, it could be kind of cooling off and coming back down to around like 674. This 1618 extension from this retracement, which is probably not that significant. Let's just look at that on the daily time frame. Yeah, just this little run up extension from there. So that is a potential level, 674. That price could be coming to over the next couple weeks and finding a bottom there. But yeah. And let's see. So Jamie's saying LICY beat EPS Friday and to be at 63 cents by Friday. Let's see. Is that right? I'm just making sure. To be, oh, no. I think I'm misreading that wrong. My eyes are a little dry, sorry. Oh, beat. Oh, okay, they beat EPS by 63 cents. So yeah, looking pretty good. And so their earnings calls Tuesday is, I'm going to look this up. Actually, yeah, no. 75 million and getting a loan for 300. Oh yeah, and so I did do a video on like Fisker and Canoe, I think today. But yeah, I can give you my thoughts. I just worry that it's going to consolidate and like just form, like consolidate over here and then just break lower. So, I mean, for me, like I've accumulated a number of shares with them really since it was up here around this red line. I believe that's when I started adding. My average is, I think, around 60 cents. And so what I plan on doing is the shares that I have that are not sold as covered calls, I'm just going to be selling covered calls that expire on Friday this week with a 50-cent strike, because I don't think it's going to go up to 50 cents. So I'll get my shares back, and then I'll get all of my shares back on Friday, or really like over the weekend next week. And then I'll assess what to do based on where price is then. If it's still in this area down here, if it hasn't moved up, like if it hasn't reclaimed like 26 cents, I would think it's bearish consolidation. It's just going to keep going lower. And then I'd probably get rid of my shares the following Monday at whatever loss. If it's still like 18 cents, that'd suck. But that's better than it dropping down to like 7 cents. That's the next level down that I've marked if it breaks 13 or, 15 and a half right here, which it has tested. It hit a low of 14 cents, getting right down to that 2618 at 13.17 cents. So, yeah, I'm hoping that this can move in the next couple days to get a close above 25.9 cents. Because if it can't, I would think that this just looks like either more bleeding is going to happen, or it's going to form a flag and then drop lower. So I hope that it can reclaim 25.90. I think that's actually pretty important. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to fill the gap, but if it can get up to this level, and that is just the 1618 extension from this retracement here. Yeah, so I would just be concerned if it consolidates, it's going to break lower. Unless there's like some good news coming out. I'm surprised that something about like Nissan hasn't really been mentioned yet, because I feel like that would be a good thing. But there's just been so much bad news and the bankruptcy stuff. Drinking beverages is interesting with a mustache. It's kind of a funny thing. But yeah, look at what the analysts are saying about this. It's 9 analysts. They're all saying like the lowest target is 80 cents. So something to keep in mind. But at the same time, that's all, before this bankruptcy stuff. So I could see those all being adjusted down. I see that comment, Fisker still no 10K. Is that, I'm just going to type up because there's this little heart emoji that gets in the way of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, it's just been, yeah, this same with with Canoe, GOEV, just kind of been in like downtrending channels for a while. And so there hasn't really been any signs that either are breaking out of these channels. Did get this little bit up here. Yeah, it's rough. So, I mean, it could just continue to fade down. So I think that the bull case for Fisker is really just on PayPal. I wanted to do PayPal over the weekend because I was doing it on Saturdays for like a month. And then they had their earnings call, and then I think there's less interest, perhaps maybe because of my perspective on it. And also, I don't know, there's some other ones I should go over. They're up here that were requested beforehand, but I'll go over PayPal. Yeah, so I remember when earnings came out, there was this big drop. I, was starting to do like earnings call streams, and I think the first one that I had done was, it might have been, I don't know if it was Palantir. There's one that I did that I had shares of, like without buying, because I was doing the earning call. I just had shares. It might have been Palantir, and so it's like, oh well, it's kind of fun to be holding shares when there's the earnings call. And so I picked up a share of PayPal. It's not very much, but just before the earnings call, and then I saw it drop, and it's just like, oh man, this is not looking good. I probably sold like in the upper part of this red candle or maybe this green one. So, I just bought one share, took a, $5 loss, not a big deal, but I just didn't want to be holding it as long as it would take. It's like basically a month to get back up here. Yeah, so a month. So I didn't want to just have money locked in PayPal. And yeah, I could have made all of that money back. I could have made some money on it. I could have made, let's see, like a couple percent if I sold up here. But yeah, looking at it now, let's see. It did fill this gap, so it's kind of like mission accomplished there. Also bumped into like the 236 from this retracement. I don't really know how significant that is. Probably more useful to look at the volume profile. Doesn't look like, there's this little bit of a shelf, like the volume. I guess I have to be careful how I do this. But yeah, it looks like there's some consolidation that kind of fades just above where price is and not able to get above that. And also, really, with this gap down, there's going to be resistance there because people who bought up here right before earnings expecting to, oh, it's going to skyrocket, then, they're probably like just taking a breath of fresh air now that they're at break even. And so I could see this pulling back. Maybe, what's this yellow line? That is this support here. Yeah, I don't know that it would be pulling back to the orange line. I think that would be a little extreme, but I could see it pulling back to either, let's see, the 382, which is at 61.35, or like this, the yellow downtrend. I feel like worst case scenario coming down to the 50% retracement. That's at like 59.23. But, while there are these big wicks up here, this is potentially forming a bull flag. But because there are such big wicks up here, I feel like it seems more likely that this will pull back. And then if it does pull back and consolidate, then that could be the formation of a bear flag. And then maybe it would break lower to the yellow line. So I could see that as a scenario. Because, yeah, like to get above these wicks, it needs to go up a pretty good amount to get a close from like the current open up to there. That's only like, I guess, like 2-3%. But yeah, that's a level that it'll need to get above. The high that was hit on the 14th being $64.20. So yeah, that's what I see with this. It's good that the gap has been filled, but because of that, I think it's probably going to pull back some after seeing these big wicks up here. And then in two, it's like, this on this day, you get a big wick up there. The next day, get an open above and are able to get a wick even higher, but not able to close above that previous day's high. And then the next day, opening lower, wicking up, but not able to get to that previous high, and then closing right at, let's see, 62.85. Yeah, that's exactly the low that was hit here. So, I mean, to me, it just seems like it closed at that level, not above it. So it seems like there's a lot of weakness here. And so I could see a pullback to like 61.35 at least. And if it does pull back to 65.35, consolidate, and then maybe I'll try drawing this up. This is what I could see happening. It pulls a red candle here. And then, let's see, some more candles here. And then drop down here. And so maybe this is green. And so that's what I could see happening. But maybe, if it does pull back, maybe it gets a bounce and then gets some higher closes. So that's also a possibility. Oh, and TLRY. Sorry, I missed that more money, but yeah, I'll definitely go over TLRY. So I just did a video on all of the MJ stocks, and so going over TLRY here, I'll probably go over MSOS, which is like the cannabis ETF. And so yeah, this I feel like this is all kind of like moving on rumor though, because it's talks of the DEA reclassifying cannabis from a Schedule 1 drug, which is like on the same level as heroin, and then rescheduling it to Schedule 3 drug, which I think is like codeine and like Tylenol with codeine, testosterone, stuff like that. And so, it's like drugs that still, you need a prescription for. So it's like, for medicinal purposes, reclassifying it or rescheduling it, and it's still basically viewed as for medical purposes. And really, like as a Schedule 1 drug, it's viewed as not having any medical applications. And so for it to be rescheduled is good because then it's acknowledging that there are benefits to cannabis that are useful in medicine. And so I think that's good, but it's also not like legalizing it. It's just lowering the classification of it or making it less. It's a drug that has use and utility, rather than a drug that's just people get addicted to and ruin their lives around. So I think it's good news, but I also think it's really just like hype. It's rumor because like Kamala Harris is talking about it. She's urging them, but it could just be like a political stunt or something. So I could see this, and then if it does get rescheduled, it's still it's still illegal, and I don't know how much of the country it's still illegal in, but still a good amount of the country. And so yeah, I think it's like a step in the right direction, but it's not like a full step. And then there's the possibility that maybe it does get rescheduled. There's also the possibility it doesn't get rescheduled. So I think this could be like a buy the rumor type of thing. Price could continue to go higher, but I think that once the news is out, whatever the decision is, there might be some profit taking. So I think it's a little risky, but it's also pretty low. Of all of the cannabis stocks, I was actually really surprised. I expected them to all be pretty low market cap. I was surprised to see TLRY over $1 billion market cap, 1.29 billion. So that impressed me. I'm intrigued by that. With most of them on here, I have a small position in TLRY. That I was thinking, maybe I'd trim at some of these levels, but then it's just like Nah, I mean, this looks like it could be a double bottom, and this could be something to just hold and forget about. Because my average is, I don't know what my average is. Again, a very, very small position. But, it shouldn't matter, how big a position is. It's just like you hold it, you forget about it. Yeah, my average is 164.3. So it's like, with it up this much and continuing up in the after hours, and having a double bottom here with a fake out break of this purple uptrend, I feel like I'm sitting pretty good. Anybody's sitting pretty good with an average really below, like in the 160s. I think that's a pretty good thing a good position to have. Because even if the rumor does, or the news breaks and then it's a sell the news type of situation, I think it's yeah, I think it looks good. And then yes, I'll add C to this list. I'm gonna take a couple things off of it. What have I gone over? Gone over Fisker. Gone over Polestar and PayPal. And I'm actually gonna make sure this is in the make sure add it to the Degen Ed list. SOFI, I've gone over that. Just trying to clean this up so I can add more requests. All right, and so adding SE to this. I've not looked at this chart in a while. I've made a couple videos on it. It'll be interesting to look at. I've got to wear glasses when I do these streams because my eyes just get dry looking at text from the comments, looking at the charts, and it's just, the end of the day, I'm tired. But let's see. Yeah, so I will look at C. Oh, actually, before I get into C, I should look at MSOS. This is, let's look at the profile here. This is the investment seeks long-term capital appreciation. The fund is actively managed ETF that seeks to achieve to invest normal source at least 80% of assets. Yeah. Okay. So there's lots of words up there at the beginning, and then it says the fund is actively managed. Is an actively managed ETF that seeks to achieve its investment objective by investing, under normal circumstances, at least 80% of its net assets, plus any borrowings for investment purposes, in securities of companies that derive at least 50% of their net revenue from the marijuana and hemp business in the United States, and in derivatives that have economic characteristics similar to such securities. And so what's this is Advisor Share Pure U.S. Cannabis ETF. I don't think it's pure U.S. cannabis if it's only 50%. And then it says also it will concentrate at least 25% of its investments in the pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, and life sciences industry group within the healthcare sector. So, yeah, this is pretty interesting. It has moved up quite a bit. 14% on Friday, but only going up about 1.5% in the after hours, closing in the after hours right around $9. The high on Friday was $8.94, so just being a little bit higher than the close, $8.87. And this to me looks like, yeah, so $9. What was the high on this day? January 16th. High at 905. See, I wonder if it could be getting into some resistance right around there. Maybe that would act as support if it does move higher than it. Let's see, volume profile. Yeah, if it can't get above $9, I think it might be able to hold above there, because it does look like there's all of this, price action below. And this, interesting too. Let's look at this. We got, higher highs here. And what's the RSI doing? We got, RSI above 70 here at this peak, right around there, a little bit, even over here. RSI is, above 80, right around 80, 76, 50. And we get this high here. And then we get this other high that's higher. The RSI is notably lower. And so that is bearish divergence. And so following that bearish divergence, we did get a pullback. And that pullback was approximately, 30%, 32% down. And from that, let's see if we do a Fibonacci retracement. Oh, that's not the right tool. From over here, let's see the high here, 1064. All right. From there down to here, the low on this day, 730. So right there, pretty perfect. And yeah, it does look like the 50% retracement is right around $9. So that's going to be, I think there are a number of factors. Closing above 9 is going to be pretty important. And then beyond that, the 618 is at 936. That, really, I think it's just like, as it moves higher, it's getting like the volume profile is kind of tapering in. And so, I think that if it's able to get above, these shelves here, they will then act as support. And so that would really be like getting up to like 924, 936. If it can get up to those levels, I think that could be really good for some consolidation and then another move higher. So yeah, I think that this is pretty interesting. So I mean, if you're like really interested in one of the like cannabis companies, you should go with that. But if you're just generally interested in this sector, the MSOS does seem like it could be pretty good. It did have this pretty big pullback. I guess unfortunate that dip was not. It was not purchased at this dip. I wonder what Fibonacci level that would be if I do another retracement here, going from this to that. So yeah, that's almost at the 618. So if I do the retracement from here, the low over here, yeah, either way, that's almost at the 618. Maybe you want to do it from the like double bottom here. I don't know, just moving it around to try and justify where price might be, how you might have recognized that was a good time to buy the dip. Maybe we want to look at the RSI for that. So let's see here, you've got higher lows forming, and here you have, yeah, so that does look like, man, sometimes this is magic. Not always. But yeah, from there you got higher lows formed, and then in that same time frame, you have higher lows formed up to here. But then when price breaks down here, you still have a higher low in the stock price, but the RSI has then broken to either flat with this one or lower than this one. And so that is, well, yeah, I mean, really, I guess maybe this isn't that great of an example because it's really just like flat. No, it's lower. It's definitely lower. So yeah, I mean, this, with the price being the low there, you've got the low in the RSI at 38.45. Here, you've got the low at 35.32, and that was like the perfect time to buy this. So I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with MSOS before somebody commented it. And so what I should probably do is I usually have like a watch lists, and I should make one that's just on cannabis stocks and or ETFs, because I try to organize stuff like that. But yeah, it's in the DGen Ed, so it's good there. And then C, yes, I will look at C next. Wow. I did not expect this because, this is actually like, I think I'm not sure. Yeah, and this also does look like, maybe it was like forming a head and shoulders. So that's pretty crazy. Got fake out breakdown here. And then this giant move up. I did not see this coming at all. It's 80% swing. Let's see. So, man, that's crazy. Yeah, and like I'd done a little bit on this ticker, I think making videos on it and chatting about it in live streams. And then I had shared some videos that Benjamin Poole from Verified Investing had gone over, and he pointed out that this level was just being tested over and over and over. Eventually it's going to break, and then here it breaks, but you don't get confirmation. Let's see. So you get, close below, and that looks not so good, but it is a hammer candle. It could suggest reversal. And then you can see these green candles, closing above, this high here. And yeah, wow. And then it's like move up and then consolidation, move up, consolidation, move up, now consolidation. And RSI has cooled off a little bit. It's now at 70.25. I think, yeah. It's in that bit there because there's all this consolidation over here on that. Like what caught my eye was just like putting this line up here. You got these lows right around that area. Also, lows there, also some highs bumping into that consolidation around that area. And then also, you're getting highs over here around that price. So I think that, let's see, what was the high? It's not surprising that 63.25 that it couldn't go higher from there. So, yeah. I don't know. This is looking a little precarious. And let's see. Moving, so price, this is all like pretty short time scale, so I don't know. But you got higher highs here. And then, if I adjust this to this, doesn't really matter, but, to that day, you're getting lower highs here. That's bearish divergence. I would look for, let's see, a break below the low here or a close below the low here, 56.90. If it does close below that, though, it could be a fake out. So always good to look for confirmation on that next day. If it does close even lower than whatever low would be, yes, you don't want to see a close below 56.90. If you do, whatever the low is on that day, you don't want to see a close lower than that. Sucks that would be driven even lower, but that would suggest that, it's just going to continue to go down. And so that's like, you can never time the top or buy the exact top or sell the exact top. You can never buy the exact bottom. And so, Ole, congrats on your play. 67% profit. Sounds like you played this really well. Pulling back to 50. Let's see, there's this gap right here with a high of 55.94. Pulling back to 50. Let's see. Let's make the assumption that this is going to cool off a little bit before going higher. It does seem like there's a lot of kind of vacancy here because of the gap over here and not much price action there. But let's kind of like assume this has run its course and it's going to be pulling back to a level. Approximately where might it go to? The 236 at 56.37. What's the high on March 1st? 51.46. The thing that stands out to me is a 382 at 52.18. Given that that's pretty close to 50, I would say maybe this is where it would find support, dip a little bit lower. So yeah, maybe 50 could catch it. It could also go lower to the 50% retracement at 48.80. So it might be good if you want to have like an average at 50. Maybe it doesn't get exactly to 50, so it might be good to like, a quarter of whatever position size, place that at 52.18, and then if it goes to 50, then you get another quarter, and then if it goes to 48.80, then you could get the rest of the position. Your average would then be lower than $50. So that could be a nice way to play that. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, and this 50% retracement does correspond with the top over here approximately. And then this gap would be filled. I mean, it's already been filled, but I would think that 52 is definitely seems feasible. Definitely 56, 52 seems feasible. 50, I think that's getting risky, that it might not pull back that far. But if it does, it might very well come to 48.80. And so those are levels that stand out to me. And I should note, when I'm saying 48.80 or 52.18, I didn't draw these lines exactly right. So, the range between like 48 and 52. So 50 plus or minus $2. I think that would probably be a good range to consider averaging into if you want your average to be right around 50. And if it does dip to 48 or 48.80, you get your average lower than 50. Yeah. And I will probably go over a couple of these tickers that I have not yet gone over. And then I might close this down. My eyes are just really tired looking at the screens. But yeah, Alibaba, I think I kind of went over this, initially at the beginning of the video, so I'm going to delete that one. Duo, I find this interesting. I think NASCAR was requesting this last week, I believe. And this had like squeezed up a bunch, was around $1, higher than $1 in the after hours. So I put this alert on for when price would drop below $1, just to, if one would have bought the dip, and then to experience it rally even higher, but then it didn't. It just dropped and is now 55.8 cents. So yeah, I've been getting alerts from this like pretty much every day, reminder that price is below $1. But if we look over at the hour time frame, so this was the 8th. This was, so over the weekend, it had squeezed up on Friday. It was up here, and wait a second. So this was the close. It closed the week after hours trading at $1.16. And so it's like, okay, I'll place this alert here at $1. Maybe that's a good opportunity to dip buy. And then potentially it was, because that could have been filled here. And then that could have led to, let's see, a 70% swing just in the pre-markets. That would have been really nice. But then it's also like, waiting for 75% or 85 or, 100%, and it didn't get there. And then now looking at more than 40% drop. So yeah, I thought this was interesting. I had wanted to pay attention to this just to see, because I'm not really used to participating in such volatile up moves like that then pull back. I mean, I guess there was one here, volatile move up and then a pullback, and it just bled. So I mean, maybe it's at the midpoint of this channel, so maybe it finds support around where it's at, and maybe there's another rally in it. But this just seemed like a little risky for me. But just, you know, interesting to watch. And yeah, so just gonna make sure this is in the watch list. Yep. Oh, I've done LICY. Make sure that's in. And then NVAX. Somebody had requested this, so I will go over this. This actually looks really interesting. It looks like, I don't know, deja vu or something. Like it's repeated the exact. This doesn't seem right at all. Like, it's a drop of 26%, and then, yeah, weird. Yeah, let's see. From here to here, 50%, sell your position, and then buy it back here. And then that's 36. This, oh, okay, so one thing that I think is really interesting about this, I think it's actually pretty tricky. You know, it's like Gollum being tricksy, you know, that you have this big up move. Looks like consolidation to the side, but you got all these wicks to the top, getting rejected there. It's actually, you know, and then breaks down. And so it's like, okay, but it moved up here, and then it's consolidated here. But what actually happened is it moved up here, couldn't get above, you know, this candle here. It was getting multiple rejections, then broke down. And so now what you have is from these two candles, that's the flagpole, and you have a consolidation here. So this is actually, it looks like bearish consolidation. Although, you know, I guess it is encouraging that Friday's close was higher than, let's see, 529. What was the high on the 13th? 529. It would have been nice if the close was a little bit higher than that. After hours is flat. Yeah. There's this article on analyzing Novavax's short interest. Novavax short percent afloat has risen 5.26% since its last report. The company recently reported that it has 54.83 million shares sold short, which is 55.43% of all regular shares that are available for trading. Based on its trading volume, it would take traders 8.1 days to cover their short positions on average. Based on its trading volume. So, yeah, I wonder if this is, excuse me, I wonder if this could be squeezing. Like, where might it go to? Be nice if it could get above $8. Does seem like, yeah, there's all this consolidation over here, so getting above that, like above 650 or so, might be kind of tough. But yeah, there's this. No, it doesn't really look like there's not much of a gap there if there is anything. So let's see, the high here was 422. The low here was 423. So I guess there's like a penny gap there. A little gap. I mean, and also if you factor in that the close was down here, so it gapped from this low up to there. And so really, I think that price needs to come down to around $4. The close on this day was $3.98. But yeah, I don't know. This pattern is just super weird. It looks like it shouldn't exist. But yeah. Let's see. I just see like the lows over here. 561. There we go. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense that it got rejected from there, then kind of formed, you know, like double top. So, But I could see this, actually, I think this would be good for a retracement because we got the low here, high here. Where might it be returning to? If this is, you know, then bearish consolidation and it's going to break lower. Let's see, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this just right. So 353 to 605. 353, 605. All right, so that's good. And so from this, it does look like it's respecting the 382, $5.09. So I think that's good. But if this is bearish consolidation, it's probably going to be breaking lower to the next level down. 50% retracement is at $4.79. So I could see it getting there, potentially going even lower to the 618 at 449. But from what I understand, it does seem like there's a good amount of short interest in this company, and that it could potentially be, there could be a squeeze. But it does look like, you know, basically double top got rejected, bear flag. So I do think that this is probably going to be going down to at least 479. Maybe more likely 449, but in case if it doesn't, maybe 479. And that does seem to correspond with, actually, yeah, I mean, it's like, if there is support at 479, it's that, you know, there were, you know, people like over here, positions established at these lows. And then if it dips lower than that, that they might, actually, no. Yeah, this would really just be like, maybe there are positions here and there's stop losses below. And so if it does break below that, it might be dropping down further. I'm not sure if I'm justifying that well. But yeah, I mean, if it does get to the 618, I guess it really doesn't seem like there's too much there. So maybe it would be getting caught around 436 around the highs here, or, you know, going to the 786 at $4.07. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like I don't think it would be pulling back that much. So 50% retracement or 61.8 might be good ones to keep an eye on. And then, yeah, so, and then Oleg, I see your comment about buying big at 52 as it was my biggest position and was billed as let's see, there's this heart emoji. I'm just going to type up so it moves out of the way. And want it to build as biggest again. Yeah, so I think like as far as SE goes, if it pulls back to 52, I would just plan for it, or there to be the possibility for it to go to 50 or 48, and then you could have a nicely sized position. Yeah, so, and then and a good amount of that then would be, you know, coming from the profits that you made from it. So good job with that trade. It's a nice one. But yeah, and I think that I'll probably close this down unless there are any last minute requests. My eyes are just tired, but I'm happy to go over another chart if somebody wants me to go over a last minute one. But I'm proud of myself for getting all of the ones that popped up. Usually I do miss one. And I might try to do a market stream on Tuesday morning. Maybe the first like hour the market's open, something like that. I imagine most people will be at work, but I think that might be fun to do because I haven't been streaming. Didn't stream too much during the week last week, and I've just been doing so many earnings calls. It'd be nice to just, you know, check out the charts during the market hours. Maybe do a stream then. But yeah. Yeah, so if there are no other requests, I'm probably going to close this down. And yeah, and I'll try to do a Palantir video tomorrow, Velo 3D video, and I'm not sure what else I might be doing, but I know those are two. I wanted to do Palantir over the weekend. I'll just kind of look over the ones that kind of stand out to me as being interesting. And actually, maybe, you know, I could just pull up Palantir here as I close, you know, get me in the right frame of mind for tomorrow. Yeah, this is another one I just did like way too many Fibonacci retracements on it, just trying to really understand all of the little bits of it. But I do think that, you know, it's pretty interesting. You know, do all you want with the Fibonacci retracements. I think that this trend line is pretty cool. And let's see this. Yeah, I'm just going to delete this. I'm just going to delete a lot of these, and I'll redraw some if they stand out to me. But yeah, this did come down to 23.49, just above 23.41, hitting a low on the day of 23.42. I think this looks like it could be at support, but you know, it hasn't necessarily given a bouncing signal or anything. It just happened to close above these levels, you know, on a red day being down almost 4% on the day, and actually gapping down initially and not even filling it. And so, yeah, I mean, I could see this, like I mentioned, I think that this is coming down to 20 or 18. And I was actually, the book that I'm reading by Peter Lynch, One Up on Wall Street, the chapter that I was reading yesterday, I believe, he was talking about how there's this one company that, I think it was an oil company, talking about how the CEO was like, you know, apparently there are a bunch of people shorting the company. And I mean, if they want to go to their, you know, Christmas parties naked because they're not going to have any money after shorting our successful company, then, you know, that's fine with me. But then what happened with the stock price following that was it went from like $50 a share to $4 a share, something like that. I'm not really sure. And I was just thinking about Palantir in the interview with Alex Karpad, the CEO of Palantir, talking about short sellers and what they use their money for, and you know, basically just not being happy with short sellers, that they bring down good American companies. And so really, I mean, that is just kind of like how the market works. So it doesn't matter if it's a good American company. It doesn't matter. Short sellers will take advantage of them. And so just like in looking at the chart, this big move up, this gap right here, I don't necessarily think the entire gap needs to get filled because this one didn't get filled entirely. But I do think that this will be coming down to $20 to $18 a share. But I could see it bouncing again, getting another attempt at 27, because it does look like it's found support, you know, just above that, unless it opens maybe below 23.41 or, you know, below what it closed at. But if we do look at the, let's see, the RSI and so we do have higher price here, lower RSI, that's bearish divergence. But then we're also getting from this higher lows. Yeah, so I mean, this stands out to me as, you know, it got exhausted when it came up to 27.50, right around the 27. And yeah, and then also, you know, on that big move up, you know, just look at there's less volume traded with it up at this price than over here. So maybe there is another attempt, but there's just not going to be that much volume behind it, I don't think. And if there is another attempt, it could be creating, you know, a shoulder, head, shoulder, and then from that, we can take a measurement from here down to the neckline. I'm guessing this will put price right around 20 bucks. Let's see if it's over here. Pretty remarkable. I could see there being another rally up to, maybe it doesn't get up to 27 bucks, but another rally up, then that's putting in a right shoulder. And this would be, you know, a recipe for it coming down to $20 a share, which then I think is a good time to be accumulating, in my opinion, between 20 and 18 bucks. So, yeah, I guess those are my thoughts on Palantir. I didn't really expect it to be so clean. But yeah, that's what happens when you remove all of the excessive Fibonacci levels. But yeah, anyways, I just see that there's one person left listening, and so I'm just going to throw this up at the end of it. You know, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Make sure you like, share your comments, whether that's in the live chat during the streams or the comments below on the videos. And I will be streaming probably again on Tuesday. And yeah, it's been a fun evening. Hope you guys had a happy St. Patrick's Day. I've been a little tired, so I apologize about that. Just eyes need a break, I guess. But yeah, I'll have some more videos out tomorrow. And starting after the first week of April, I should be able to do evening streams during the week. So I will probably do 3 nights a week. Um, so that should be pretty nice. And then maybe around that time, we'd be getting into earnings season again. So that could be interesting as well. But yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, great start to the week. And I'm going to actually look and see if the covered calls videos that I did, how popular they were. But I was thinking about doing another one in the morning tomorrow before market opens. But I might not. I might just rest a little bit and feel a little more rested for the day. But yeah, I hope you all had a happy St. Patrick's Day and the start of the week is good for you. And I will see you in the next one.